Before we start this video, I kind of want to have a disclaimer a little bit, because I know that a lot of people will kind of get the wrong idea of why I say you should summon for something or you shouldn't summon for something. My overall thing is that if you have fun with the game, whatever unit you pick will be perfectly fine for you. Because I do think that ZZZ in general is one of those games that you could actually play any character that you want, so long as you build them correctly, and you'll do perfectly fine. I'm not saying that HP inflation is not an issue, I'm just saying that in general, the game's about having fun, and if you're having fun with the characters you love, I think that's ultimately what it boils down to. However, I do know that some people do want to summon for characters that are going to be a benefit to their account, which is why I have these videos out there. So, disclaimer's over, summon whoever you want to summon for, but if you are looking for what to summon for next, then you're in luck, because today we are going to be talking about if you should be summoning for Yuzuha, or probably the unit that you probably know that I'm probably going to be talking about and probably saying that you should probably summon for. It's 5 probablys. You already know the deal. But of course, before we get into today's video, like, comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And don't forget to check out my ever wonderful sponsor known as GamerSubs. That's right, use code TYSERA for 10% off of your purchase. Yes, make sure to get some of the new cups that are coming out. I'm very excited for what's coming next because it's going to be insane. Or at least in my opinion. Especially with the new V-card drop. I'm pretty excited for that. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive into today's video. Now, also bear in mind, I've talked about this before too, I do use Pridewin for these videos for the most part, and it's not to say that Pridewin is 100% correct. I do sometimes disagree with stuff, but I do want to touch up on one from my previous video where I talked about if you should summon for Jufufu, and I was actually very surprised that I was spot on where they would put Jufufu right here in 0.5. I was actually hoping I was wrong, because I really wanted Jufufu to finally beat out our boy Lighter, but that's not the case. Lighter up top for the fire, stunners. So very excited for that. He is the stone cold stunner, except for he's always hot. Yeah. But of course, let's start off with the A rank characters. First off, Billy. Billy is free to play, so automatically you're already getting him. So really, you're summoning for his, whatever they call it. Is it Memoryscape? Is that what they call it? The Memoryscape? Is that what it is? The Mindscape. There's so many of these games that have different ways of talking about these things. So for me, I always get mixed up. So if you're summoning for Billy, you're summoning to get more of his Mindscapes. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to summon for Billy. I wouldn't be surprised. So overall, Billy is okay. When it comes to just general use, if you're not min-maxing your Billy, Billy is going to be one of those characters that you don't really focus too often on. And it's really shown in a lot of people's gameplay. Now, of course, I'm no one to talk because, well, I don't play Billy as often, but I will say this. When I do play Billy, I understand why they have him in tier 3 over here on Pridewin. So does that mean Billy is a bad physical attack unit? I mean, he doesn't really have too many other ones to go off of. Who do we have for physical attackers, right? Let's go ahead and sort this out really quick on the tier list, right? So physical attackers, you have Korin, who's just as bad. You have Nekomata, which, to me, I think that it's weird that Nekomata is below Billy. I would put Nekomata above Billy, but that's just me. And then, of course, you don't have anybody else because everyone else is an anomaly. So, honestly, he's the best. He's the best physical attacker because really there's no one else. But to be fair, I want this to be clear. It's tough for the attack, I guess, the subspecies, the different type, it's hard for the attribute of attack to actually be up there when anomaly DPS is just so much better in every way, shape, or form. So I can't really sit here and say that Billy is just terrible. It's just he's a victim of circumstance. I don't, look, we can look at this tier list. Who is dominating? Anomaly. There's an attack right there. There's an attack right there. But then anomaly. And then just below that, we have a couple of attacks, which isn't too bad. I'm actually kind of surprised with that. But if you look, the majority of, the best ones, if you look at, 3/5, right, is anomaly. And they're some of the best units. Now, I will say I've been playing more with Evelyn, and Evelyn's getting better. Hugo, I don't have too much of an opinion on Hugo, but I've seen a lot of people do well. But overall, I think that the meta in general, it's kind of tough, especially when you're trying to be at that top slot with Miyabi and Yishwen. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much. My apologies. So do I think Billy is good to summon for? No. I think that overall you get him for free, so there's no point in summoning more of him. But if you are summoning on this banner, it would make sense for you to get more copies of him. Then we have the old lady, not so old lady Piper. Now, Grant, I want to say this. Why is she speaking like she's 63 years old? Like, bro, you cannot be 63 years old. That's insane to me. But I digress. If we look at the tier list, and we're using this as just an example, I want everybody to understand that this does not mean that I agree 100%, right? If we look at this, she's actually up there. She's not too bad for a anomaly DPS, which anomaly DPS, in my opinion, overall has been a better suited, I guess, attribute, right? So the fact that she's a physical anomaly is really crazy, which, by the way, if you actually summon on the Yuzuha banner, you're getting all physical units. You get a physical attacker, a physical anomaly, and a physical support. Pretty crazy. You could actually build in a full team on top of that, basically. So that's just my take on that. But Piper can be pretty much explained very easily. Like, physical anomaly, DPS. That's it. She's basically doing as much damage as she possibly can, or as many hits as she can, to build up her anomaly and getting all those wonderful boosts in, or not boosts, but like massive DPS numbers. And if you build her right, she could do really, really well. I'll just say this, I haven't built her right. I haven't even built her because I'm not interested in the character. Why would I build a granny when I could have hot rat mommy, right? Jane Doe is amazing. And this is where I disagree on the tier list, because everything that I've seen, Jane Doe is way better than Piper. So having Piper right next to Jane Doe is insane to me. Now, I will say this, I understand that people, when they use the special attack, tire spin, during the skill activation, the anti-interruption levels increase and damage taken is reduced to 40%. I get that. I get all this stuff going on with her. I just love Jane Doe more. Jane Doe's hot. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I literally got Jane Doe body pillow in the background. I have to shield for her, guys. What do you want me to do? What do you want? At any rate, Piper is actually not too bad, but again, I haven't built her myself, so I don't really have too much of an opinion. However, I will say, is it worth summoning for her? Maybe. I don't think it's as worth as people might think it is, to be honest. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Miyabi's a must summon. I mean, listen, despite what EO is trying to tell you, where, oh, you don't have to summon for Miyabi. If anything, you just summon for Yuzuha, who's just going to be just... No, I'm sorry. But if you're looking for the best DPS in the game, EO, it's Miyabi. And the reason why I say that is, from a casual perspective, you don't have to min-max her to do as much damage as she possibly can. Well, not possibly can, but doing as much damage as she's able to do, right? She is actually outputting so much that it makes low-tier accounts actually above average, right? She is that good of a unit, and I won't sit here and listen to anybody say otherwise, because it's just true. And I know that I'm opening the floodgates by calling EO out specifically, and I apologize, bro, but I'm just saying, I saw your tweet. No, Miyabi is that much better than, like, literally so many units. The only one that comes close right now is Yi Xuan, and even then, I still think that Miyabi overall is out-damaging Yi Xuan. And you could post as many things as you want to say that you don't have to have Miyabi on the account, and you are absolutely 100% correct on that. That is not my argument. But I will say that if people are looking to summon for a DPS that's out of this freaking world, people who are min-maxing Billy could min-max Miyabi and be 1,000 times better. Let's just be 100% on that. So am I sitting here and telling you that Miyabi is a must summon if you're looking to build meta onto your account? Abso-freaking-lutely. And I'm not going to sit here and be a creator that's going to tell you, like, oh, you know, every creator has their opinion and everybody's right in their own way. No. I will say this. If you're going for meta, Miyabi is the way to go. Do not listen to people say, you know, build up a Billy or build up this or build up that. If you want meta character, this is it. Miyabi right here. And I'm gonna put it to you as an example if you're a Destiny fan, right? And I'm using this example because I literally saw somebody try to do this and they lost horribly when it came to PvP games, Gambit games. They couldn't even raid, right? If you, like, Billy is literally just a triple bow character from Destiny 2. If you're running triple bow on a Destiny 2 character, you either are really, 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 really good to be doing endgame stuff, or you're really, 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 really bad, and you just are like, oh yeah, I saw this one guy do it, so I'm gonna do it. Not everybody gets that lucky with building ability 100% and building it to the proper specifications to be able to do as much damage as humanly possible to barely hit the threshold of getting a, you know, S rank, whatever, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you, you know, oh, hey, if you're going for meta, just build Billy and min-max him. No, that's stupid. So that's just my take. If it's a horrible take, it's a horrible take, okay? I don't care. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Getting a Miyabi over min-maxing a Billy is probably better for your account. Getting off my tangent, I apologize. All I'm going to say is that if you're building for the love of the character, don't summon for Miyabi unless you really love Miyabi. But if you're building because you do want some meta teams, at least one meta team, then yes, summon Miyabi. And now we get to the other part of this main event where we talk about Yuzuha. Now, of course, I am on game 8, so, you know, I'm just going to be using this to kind of gauge my thoughts on Yuzuha. Funny enough, I was looking through this, and they are suggesting that you build Yuzuha with a Miyabi and a Vivian team. Ain't that a little crazy? But it actually makes a lot of sense with Yuzuha because Yuzuha is built to basically help with the build rate of all anomaly damage and just disorder damage. So it kind of really makes sense for her to be paired up with other units that are anomaly DPSs. So she's going to really bank on being a part of that. So originally, when the live stream went up, I thought that she was only going to be good for like Jane Doe and Alice, but from what it's looking like with her kit, she's going to be good with every single anomaly DPS. Which to me is pretty insane because you got Miyabi, you got Yi Xuan, you got Yanagi here, you got Jane Doe, you got Viper. I'm pretty sure, yeah, she's attack. I don't know why. I don't know what I was thinking right there, right? And then of course you also got the other anomaly characters such as Vivian. Here, we could just do this. Boom. These are the characters that you'd be looking at, right? You got Miyabi, Yanagi, Vivian, Burnus, you know. You got your Jane Doe, you got your Piper, and you got Grace. So if you like any of these characters, which most likely most of you like these characters, then you have a good reason to pull the wonderful what is she? Not raccoon. She's not a raccoon character. God, I can't. Tanooki. She's a Tanooki, right? So it makes a lot of sense to summon for her, especially if you're trying to build an anomaly team. So that's just my take on that. And the main goal is getting what's called Sweet Scare to proc, which you proc from the EX special attack, Candy Bombs. And then, of course, we'll read as what they say here. When a target is under the Sweet Scare state, all squad members' attack and damage against these opponents will increase. Additionally, if there is an anomaly agent or a Spook Shack member in the party, aka Alice, Yuzuha will increase attribute anomaly damage buildup and disorder damage to opponents affected by Sweet Scare, right? If her anomaly mastery reaches a certain amount. Which from what it's looking like, you're going to want at least 200 anomaly mastery for her to get really big buffs. So there's that. I also wanted to point this out because this is kind of like showing the differences between Astra Yao and Yuzuha a little bit. And of course, their attack is about the same. Damage output is going to be on Astra Yao's side, followed by crit damage, obviously being a buff on there. But your anomaly, disorder, and anomaly buildup is going to go up as well. Yeah, so I think that they're both good in their own right, but do I think Yuzuha is going to take over the Astra Yao spot? Honestly, it's tough to say because really Yuzuha has the ability to do really, really well with anomaly teams in general. But the thing is Astra Yao also is very good for anomaly teams. So I don't know. I feel like for me, I'm going to have to look at those comparisons myself after building my Yuzuha so I could really understand if she's going to be more worth for anomaly teams. But I will say this. If you are thinking of summoning for her and you already have Astra Yao, that's honestly a good thing. Because think about Deadly Assault, right? You're going to want another really goated support, and I think that Yuzuha is a great goated support for you to have. I mean, really think about it. You have the Deadly Assault where physical damage is going to be the best thing, and you have a Jane Doe ready to go or an Alice ready to go. It makes a lot of sense to have a Yuzuha in there. Plus, I ain't gonna lie, the swimsuit does go burr. Oh, what? But no, honestly, for real, I think that if you are summoning for Yuzuha as part of your second team or even part of your first team to get put Astriel in the second, honestly, it would make a lot of sense. I think that this is probably going to be the hardest set of banners in general between Phase 1 and Phase 2 to kind of keep your summons to yourself, because Phase 1 is great and Phase 2 is going to be just as good with the anomaly DPSs that we're getting, especially with the rerun of Yanagi and Alice looking like she's going to be really, really good. Man, it is not looking good for ZZZ players. So overall, all I gotta say is summon for who you want, obviously. You don't have to listen to what I have to say, especially when I went off on my tangent earlier. Summon for who you want to summon for. But I'm just gonna tell you right now, meta characters are gonna help your account in general. And if you're wanting to go meta route, if you want to do higher damage, it's just how it is. It's how the Gotchascape is. But I will tell you this, do not spend your hard-earned money on any banner. Go for free summons only. So, there's that. Anyways, y'all, that's going to be it for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out GamerSubs. Use code TYSTRA for 10% off. And as always, we will catch you in that next video. Please take care and be safe.